Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 39 of Stat Check. This is Commander Donte, because we can't resist making character puns, apparently, the last couple of weeks. We've had Lord of the Contest and now Commander Donte. What's up next? Swarm
I don't
Lightning?
know what to worse, the Static name episode or actually our nickname on the show this week.
It's both, somehow. Anyway, we are joined this week by myself, Ennis. I'm joined by Jeremy, who I'm just going to stop saying he's here occasionally. He's just here now. We can't get rid of him. He seems to be stuck. And we're also joined by the Chuckle Brothers. I don't know. We've got Anthony, who's still not allowed to cut his hair, and Typhus, making everybody else feel and look inadequate. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show for this week's episode, where we are basically not going to be talking about 9th edition because nothing happened this week. We're going to be talking about what's coming for us, what's coming for the game. We have a very tight 90-minute time schedule this week, so we're not going to be doing a break so that Anthony and Typhus can go to bed because they're up in like 7 hours.
7 hours, yes.
Easy.
7 hours. So quick turnaround on today's show. We're going to be doing our best to get through all of the most interesting topics of the week. But let's start with the easy bit. Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I had a very rough last couple of weeks, but I'm starting to feel better. So,
fair play.
Nice.
Typhus, Anthony, how is the date?
The date?
The date.
The date.
I've just moved in now. I live here.
Yeah, it's like a permanent ongoing date. That's what being in a relationship is like for the two of you right now. Does Anna know?
I mean, she's coming for a quadruple date at one point, so
That's true. Yeah, all of WTC into a week after in Iceland, so it's going to be busy.
so yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, I think the date is going quite well. I loved the moment when we were going to Torun to grab Brian's army, and we ended up in a place that was dodgy as hell. So Anthony was convinced that we would sell him for his body parts, and he wasn't wrong. It's just not yet.
Yeah.
He's very small. You wouldn't get much for them.
Yeah, we turned a corner, and Typhus turns to his girlfriend and says, like, just a string of words in Polish, and in the sentence is the word sketchy in English. And I'm like...
It's like when we took that wrong turn coming out of Newark Airport, Anthony.
It was so much worse than that.
Because you made me lock the doors. Like...
I actually locked the doors in the car so you cannot escape.
That makes sense. He does lock the doors every time the car moves, actually. Like, we get in and he locks the doors instantly. So
it just turns on the child lock.
yeah, that also works. I'm the same height, so
Yeah, but it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah.
Anthony got to meet my mother and taste
Oh, it's getting serious.
Go for Polish moonshine tasting.
yep, that was good. That was good. The Buddha liquor was sweet. That's got a really long story attached to it, but that's what it's called.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
The second part of the show, I guess.
But yeah, everything's been great. The food's been dope. He introduced me to what is one of my like now favorite foods, which is like some sour rye soup thing that fucking owns. Yeah, so far so good. Things are good. The jet lag is starting to come down every night. I go to bed like slightly more reasonable times.
Yeah, when you were having conversations with me when I was staying up too late was a little weird.
It was 4 a.m.
Yeah. I think like the best night when it comes to your sleeping was when we actually got drunk.
Yeah, that worked.
Then you fall asleep.
Yeah. We went out in the like town square and got like quite drunk and ate a bunch of food, and then that was like straight to bed at whatever it was, midnight. But yep, that was it. That's been my weekend. How you doing, Ennis?
I'm doing very little. A lot of like just relaxing. I had a very busy back-to-back 3 weekends with 40k, with like doing a GT in Scotland and then traveling to England and then Wales on back-to-back weekends. So took a week, didn't do anything this weekend much 40k wise, to travel to Austria this weekend because four countries, 4 tournaments is normal, right?
Sounds like perfect balance.
Exactly. Yeah. If you do five weekends, 4 countries, 4 tournaments, that's normal, right? That's a normal way to live your life.
It only counts for all of them.
Oh no, definitely not. So yeah, it's been a bit of a detox. I've been organizing my 40k storage solution into being less terrible. I haven't yet, but it's getting there. There's like a 90-liter tub just full of Tyranid models now because I'm like I need to sort them into boxes again. But I just like tip the really useful boxes into this big tub. No, not dealing with this today. Not dealing with this today. So there's like 8 really useful boxes that they came out of, and like 10 more for them to go back into. I didn't take the Forge World out. The Forge World stayed in its boxes, just in case anyone was worried about my Demacarons.
Where are all the Tyrants?
Definitely. There are 2 in that tub. My custom one is on a shelf because I keep it separate, and then there are 6 in various stages of broken in the box of my Storm Ravens, which lives under the which just lives somewhere, and I don't open that one.
Yeah, that's the like Sins of Edition past box.
Looking at
Or
the
Sins of
comment,
Edition to come.
people are complaining that we look too healthy. Boys, don't worry. Wait for the pictures from the weekend.
Wait for
Yeah.
Alpine. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. I don't know if anybody saw the pictures of what we were doing in Home Nations, but we're gonna be going much better than that. Just to make Robo jealous.
I have just the one funny picture of Pumbaa from Coventry. That's going to be all of us. The one with his glasses upside down.
I enjoyed the one of Liam Viesel and Nas doing karaoke at 4 a.m. But you know.
That was a good one.
I mean, Liam has a dream voice.
Liam has a voice.
Can he sing?
I can send you the video or show you it at Alpine.
Okay.
But it's not for public viewing. Anyway, let's move on a tiny amount because otherwise we're just going to devolve into talking about war stories in nothing to do with Warhammer. So, Jeremy, tell us about the stat for this week. All one of them.
2 events this weekend.
2 events, sorry. Yeah,
none in America, which is really funny because someone recently asked me, so what won this weekend in the United States? It's like, apparently people's free time.
Yeah.
And they left the country, they were like, finally, a free weekend.
Right.
It turns out people don't want to play Warhammer on Easter weekend, which I don't really understand because people really spending that much time with their family these
I
days.
was going to say, what are you going to do? Hang out with your family? Instead, you fly to another country and hang out with someone else's.
I mean, yeah, make new family. But yeah, there were 2 events. One 60-odd person event in, I'm just gonna say Scandinavia because I can't actually remember where it was.
It was in Sweden. It was GothCon.
Okay. Yeah, there was GothCon, and then there was also the French War Game Grand Tournament 40K à Paris, le Tournoi de Pâques, quite literally the Easter tournament. And yeah, there were 200 games played or 500 games played this weekend. It really wasn't much of anything.
In 2 events?
Yeah, but the French
GothCon was 7 rounds.
Oh,
GothCon was 6 rounds.
Yes, it was. It was 2-3-1.
Yeah, it was 2-3-1 It was a very.
Very
when I was
weird
looking at it, I was like, "That's." I mean, it's kind of nice because you have the Friday off already, so it's a great way to spend the weekend.
Fair.
But and then the French Paris one was 29 people, I think it was.
Okay.
But yeah, like 500 games combined between the 2, and that's 2 games per actual pairing, so only 250 actual matches played.
Okay.
Stats wise, there's nothing of note really because it was 2 events. But if we want to really quickly look at the season to date, because that is something that we can do now,
especially with the date slate, please do this week. Please, I'm
there's
so sick of waiting.
part of me that wants it to not come out.
Look,
But I
have got like so many coaching calls on hold for after the slate. If it could not be another week,
What if it just doesn't happen? What if like we like all delay all the shit and then they're just like, gotcha, bitch, and then they just drop 10?
It's still like 2 months till 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think GW is that crazy to not drop a slate, especially since they said in their last Meta Watch video that one was coming after Easter. They released.
They didn't specify when. After it might be.
Fuck you, Typhus.
But this will actually be exactly when they dropped the slate last year. And the reason I know that is because we had a team tournament the 3rd weekend in April last year. And the slate dropped 1 week before the event, and the captains voted to use it.
Hell yeah.
Which meant we had 2 days to rewrite and resubmit lists.
Yep.
And
The worst I've ever done was it dropped on the Thursday. The list submission had been on the Wednesday, and the TO asked us to vote. The TO asked all of the Iron Sands players whose lists had just been nerfed if they wanted to vote on resubmission, and they voted 5-3 in favor of resubmitting on the Friday before the tournament.
But yeah, and like that data slate that came out a year ago, that was Armor Contempt, the Tau, Custodes, like big time nerfs. So it was like we were 5-man teams. We were like, do we still bring Tau? Do we bring Custodes? We don't know anymore.
That was a good meta. I enjoyed that meta. It was a good time to be a Tyranid.
Was that the Crusher one, or was that the
No. At that point,
Yeah, this was Tyranid Codex about to come out. This was when we were waiting for the Nid Codex. Because remember how it leaked like a month and a half in advance?
right.
And we just like they updated the Wikipedia page off the leaks when I was still playing Crusher at tournaments, and people would be like, "So why is your Harpy not doing as much damage?" I'm like, "Not using that Harpy, buddy. I really wish I was."
Instead, I'll just take the -1 damage and the always on 5-up.
Yeah, I would have swapped that in a Harpy for a new Harpy, and you know it.
Yeah. All right. So for the last 3 months, so since the beginning of February, we have had an insane number of games. We are talking 5,800 players. Not necessarily unique, but and then over 28,000 matches, so 14,000 games played since the beginning of February. Yeah, I think when GW was talking about it, they said that their meta watch
since the beginning of February.
Yeah,
2 months.
2 months. Well, yeah, 2 months.
And that's all us data, right? That's like GT plus.
Yeah, that's GT plus. That doesn't include, and this is why when GW was talking in the last Meta Watch about something like 50% more games being played, I'm not surprised. I should actually open up my old sheet and look at the same time window, and it's probably even more than that. Like we had a weekend the other day where there were 1,007 players.
God damn!
I think when the French tournament.
Oh yeah, because that was huge, right?
Well, the thing is
huge doubles tournament as well. We didn't even track that.
We didn't track the doubles tournament, and the singles tournament we didn't track because they never entered anything into mini headquarters.
Oh wow! So that just went.
Yeah, 120 player tournament just didn't exist.
Good for GSC that Myson Games didn't count.
Yeah, just right under the radar.
It's nice,
probably. Yeah. But yeah, so 14,000 games played. Sitting at the top, unsurprisingly, Iron Hands with a win rate of 58.4%, 7 event wins, 24 top 4s, and an over-rep of 1.42. Second,
not as bad as it could be, I suppose.
No,
it's like as far as the best armies in a meta have gone, it's definitely the tamest it's been in a while in terms of win rate. Not saying it's fair, but it's not like Harlequins or now. Whirlwind of Rage Master Artisans, what does that slide in as?
Yeah.
But,
I can go look, but yeah, no.
But it's definitely not Harlequins Tyranids level, right?
No, definitely not. Like the Harlequins, when we were tracking them, and like Harlequins as a whole was 80 to 80%. Like they peaked at like 79.5% the week before that slate hit, and it was like, please, just no.
Let's get a couple weeks.
So when we have Gene Stealer Cult at number 2, they've made up just under 3% of the meta. They have a 58.2% win rate. It's 5 event wins, 24 top 4s as well, but because they make up a third less than Iron Hands, they have an over-rep of 2.10. And then rounding out the top 5, we have Dark Angels with a 58% win rate and a 1.98 over-rep. World Eaters with a 56.6% win rate and a 1.66 over-rep.
How many event wins?
2. 1 being responsible here, and 43 top 4s. Sorry, no, 22 top 4s. I can do math.
Gotta say, that's a lot of top 4.
Chaos Demons with just under 6% of the meta. They're actually the most represented of the top 5. 9 event wins, a 55.9% win rate, and a 1.38 over rep.
It's actually surprising that out of all the armies, demons are the most represented.
I think it's probably because Space Marines are broken down into 2 sub-factions.
So
you've also got like Wolves players in there and things like that.
Yeah, so Astra Militarum and Adeptus Custodes do have more players than demons, but they're not in the top 5.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and then Astra Militarum, because everyone's going to ask, is sitting at 54%. So if we were to take GW's approach and snapshot this data right now, those top 5 armies would all need some kind of adjustment because they're all above 55%.
Which seems reasonable. I would probably pull Guard up and Demons maybe down, but I could see Demons needing an adjustment at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things where it's just like, and they even mentioned this in the last Meta Watch, is that they need to be careful about when they take the top off, what that does to the couple that are just sitting below, because if their biggest hunters are the ones that are above, well, then they become problems. So I wouldn't be surprised if GW is looking at the same data as this, which they probably are at this point, they'll probably, I would hope that they adjust Guard Yeah, also slightly.
I think this was kind of visible, for example, with GSC.
Yeah.
With Hawks dying, with Tyrannids dying, suddenly their problems just disappeared.
Gone.
I mean, Tyranids were preyed on by GSC, but yes, Eldar going away was real nice. Fuck
Yeah.
shipping Hawks.
And then in the bottom 5, just because it's always fun to pick on people, you have Imperial Fist with a 29.2% win rate and no top 4s. You have Raven Guard with a 35.5% win rate, but a 0.68 over rep because they've had one top 4 out of 22 players this season.
Hell yeah.
Well done to I think that was Chris Peterson's Outriders list. So shout out to him.
I think so. Then you had White Scars with a 36% win rate, no top 4s. Death Watch with a 39.4% win rate and no top 4s. And then Thousand Suns with
a wait, no
win rate, 1 event win, which also was their only top 4 for an overrep of 0.16.
I'm glad that they gave all these Marine buffs that ruin the game for the ones that were already pretty good, just so that the bad ones could remain shit.
To be fair, if you're going to play Desolation Marine spam, why would you do it in Imperial Fist? I'm sure that army has a 50% win rate. It's just, why would you?
In fact, only Space Wolves, Iron Hands, and Dark Angels and Black Templars are above 50% for Marines right now. And they all are also above a 1 on overrep, unsurprisingly, because they've all either won events. Actually, they've all won events at this point.
That codex is just so fundamentally broken, man. It just doesn't do anything unless you add a supplement.
It's because you have 1 cost for every unit, not like in 5th, where each supplement essentially had different costs for every unit.
Yeah.
Which, surprise, actually makes sense.
But it's also like the base codex just is kind of crap. Like there's nothing in it that is interesting or dynamic. It all comes from the supplements.
I mean, if it's 100% book, it's 85% data sheets, right? Like it's just here's a bunch of garbage. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Marine problem, right? Is that all their stuff is so generic and bland that without a really cool on top of it, it's generic and bland because they put all the design space into the supplements.
Yeah. Ooh,
Hydar
calling a shot.
5-0 AdMech next weekend for your stats.
I mean, he's playing in Iceland. Does it count?
Yeah.
Well, then you can add a second event win for AdMech this season.
Oh, yeah, get up there with Mr. 500.
Yeah, you can't quite outdo that.
I mean, he can match it and have a higher strength of schedule, maybe? I don't know.
Better differential?
We can find a way for him to do better. Better differential, better strength of schedule. He's not doing it in a better country. That's definitely not happening. But
and then middle of the pack, that are armies that are perfectly well balanced, Leagues of Votan and Orcs. Both at a 51.6% win rate
counts,
and a 1.1 over rep. They've both won they've won 4 and 5 events respectively. They've had 19 and 21 top 4s. You can win with them. You can win events with them.
I think orcs are the ideal of what an army should look like. That army's fun as shit to play against, and it wins when the pilot's really good, and it loses when they're shit.
You and I have different definitions of what's fun to play against, to be sure. I don't really enjoy drowning for 4 turns until I maybe win, but
I love a scrap, dude.
I love a scrap, but I hate it when
let's brawl
against orcs so much because you feel like you never get your head out from underwater, even in games you win. It's just straight up trolling for 4 turns. I hate it so much.
Yeah, let's fight, dude. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but let's fight in your side, not mine.
Yeah,
my side is my temple.
I'd rather not
that's
go
why
second and just
I
dig
play
out
GSC.
for 4 turns.
That's why I play GSC, bro, so I don't have to ever fight in my deployment zone.
Let's fight in my deployment zone, the middle, your
You
deployment
played
zone.
GSC because Pumba had to take Marines.
No, I play GSC because Tyranids are terrible. Let's be real with ourselves. But
he gets as close as he can to Tyranids. He just wants to get back to his overrunning Hive Tyrant, and he can't. So GSC.
Yeah, the closest I've got is disappearing Gene Stealers.
Yeah, which is not the same.
Not even close. But
I will say though, that game that you played against Adam at Coventry was a sad commentary on GSC versus Tyranids at the time.
Yeah, and it's not gotten better for the Tyranids. Oh, you flew your Harpies over, and I killed them on turn 1 with.
I killed them with flamers from these shitheads on quads.
It was a good time. I do enjoy the GSC playstyle. I look forward to it being way harder because I'm playing the exact same list I was 6 months ago this weekend. But
What
updates
would
are for
that
cowards.
do?
I added some grenade launchers. That was it.
Wow. And
I know,
power
right?
swords.
Brave.
And I got Webbers now. Yeah, real terrifying.
And power swords on the jackals.
Yeah, the
I do.
picks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Not that they were
It
ever
was
not modeled
real
in the first
depressing
place.
playing into Chaos Knights in a practice game on Friday with my brand new 20 Webbers. Just sitting there like, well, I guess one dude's throwing a blasting charge because he got closer because one squad lying in waited. The rest of you sure are coherency. Dumb list.
And of course,
So-
because people are going to
so
ask,
stupid, this list.
we have Adeptus Custodes, 420 players, 1,000 wins.
420.
Like on the nose.
Exactly 1,000 wins.
That's perfection.
Some odd number of losses. A
400,000,
52.3% win rate, 5 event wins, and an overrep of 1.11. So Custodes players, stop asking for buffs.
They already have the perfect amount of players.
Look, man, just because your secondaries suck doesn't mean you have
And
to as well.
no one can drop that army and play that army.
yeah,
Like,
no,
you stay at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
no new Custodes players.
And you are all now just going to be. What pissed them off the
Sorry,
most?
you've made a mistake.
If exactly 170 games are played, we'll allow that, but no more.
That
or no
also is
less.
fine.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be 270?
Yes, but I
Maths.
can't do math today.
You don't do maths on a stream.
I
That's
don't,
what
I
you
don't.
learn.
Anthony didn't learn that a year ago.
No, I'm still bad.
He's never learned anything in his life, and it's very impressive. I'm
Hey,
proud of
so
him.
that's where we're at for the stats. I am. Give me the data slate, please.
Give me the goddamn thing. GW, give me my goddamn data slate so I can talk to people again about 40k. Nobody wants to talk about current 40k. We're only doing it because we have Alpine.
True.
We do.
Can we talk about the Alpine draw and how Poland and Germany pull each other around one?
Yeah.
To completely non sequitur. So we're going to a team tournament this weekend. Myself, Anthony, Typhus, and then also Brian and Pumbaa. We are doing Epic Cup. It's a 41 team, 5-person team event in Austria. If you want to get more details about 5-person team events, go and check out one of the latest episodes of Into the Matrix on YouTube, where you can hear all about 5-man pairings. If you're there, don't listen to it because we don't want you to know about it and be good at it.
Don't know about that.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to know. So we're going off to that one. And we are playing for Team Slot Check. And if I say that really quickly and nobody hears it, that'll make it less weird.
Slot check.
It sounds better with a Polish accent.
It does, but it doesn't sound good in a Scots one. So, so we are doing that. We have submitted a wonderful team of cults, Iron Hands, Necrons, World Eaters, and Orcs because we don't need no stinking guard.
Yeah.
Because
When you have 3 savants, you let them play their faction, and then the other 2 people play some other stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, we did offer Brian and Chris that if they both took Sly Marble, because Brian was originally going to be playing guard for us, that whoever did better would get first choice of faction for WTC. And Brian backed out. But
So I think it's worth mentioning when Ines says backed out. It actually was, I don't know what was it was Friday, the day of list submission or something like that, or last Monday. I think it was last Monday.
Yeah, that was it.
So I played a game against Pumbaa, and then we decided to go on a call as a team whether we should change the team comp. And 1 hour later, when I got,
did we?
and 1 hour later, I came back with Yulia. I grabbed her bag from her classes, and suddenly our team comp changed.
Quite a bit.
50 minutes before the list submission, which is always great.
Yeah, we went from
So
having
we
like
surely know.
Dark Angels, Demons, and Guard to Necrons, Iron Hands, and Orcs.
Yeah. And because of that, our merge might not arrive in time.
Oh no.
Because it's
We'll just have to
related
get.
the
We'll just have to
armies.
hand draw on white t-shirts. But anyway, we have grudged the Czech Republic team for that one. Best Bohemia.
So we can so do it.
Yeah.
Of course. Anyway, so we've grudged the Czech Republic team best of Bohemia for that one. I haven't looked at their list. I've not done my matrix yet. I'm a terrible teammate.
No, you've done your matrix. Do you want me to share it? You want?
No, it's cool. Did you do my matrix? Is that what's really happened here? Is everything green? Just put everything as green. I'll be fine.
No. Your matrix says this game is hard, and so every matchup except one is red. So this game is hard for red matchups, and then Word Eaters, not this army, which is a dark green.
That's fair. It's okay. I'm just gonna Gene Star Cult and let my brain implode while I idiot savant my way across the table. Brian did my matrix. That's by the sound of it. So yeah, we are very much looking forward to that. But the main highlights are, so there's two cool round draws we saw round one. The German and Polish national teams, or components of them, have paired for round one, and also TJ Lanigan's team has paired my friend Chris.
Yep.
Which is it's great. I just like to see one of them's going to collapse. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I hope they play each other.
I don't think Chris will survive. No offense to TJ, but they're not compatible people in terms of 40k play style.
But what about alcohol? Because we can fuel that one.
We could probably bribe Stefan into making that happen.
You almost certainly could.
Yeah.
Let me at him. It's your grave, Chris.
Yeah, what's Chris playing at the event?
Guard.
Yeah, that always
TJ round one.
Yeah, that has lots of fun into Mono Zinch.
Yeah, no. So Alpine should be a great time. We'll get some recording done while we're out there, so we can put that onto some YouTube content or whatever.
Question is whether the recording could be published.
Yeah,
it's very fair. We're in student accommodation, uni accommodation.
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody's got individual rooms and stuff. We're all just gonna barrel into whoever's drinking's room, 100% until whenever we want.
So it's yours.
Yeah, probably. Chris will love that. Chris goes to bed at 10 p.m. every night unless the vibes are immaculate. He'll love being in the room next to that.
Yeah.
Christ.
My favorite
guys. Do you actually know that there are supposedly golden tickets for that event?
Is there really?
Yeah.
That would be so funny if that was how we all got.
There's golden tickets for the singles.
Is there for the teams?
Don't think so.
I mean,
do you guys not already have one? Fucking ridiculous.
I mean, I will soon from a different team event, but
I will not.
But you will if there is one from this.
Brian, I've paid for everyone's room so far, and only person who paid me back is actually Ines, who set up his Revolut to make this one happen.
I think I'm technically still due you 2 cents, but the currency. I put the money in, and the currency rate changed after I put the money in, and it wouldn't let me pay him the full amount. Fucking ridiculous.
Oh.
They don't want you to get scammed by those Polish tricksters, dude. You got to be careful. We'll get your 3 cents.
Yeah, exactly. I'll make sure to give it. I'll put 3 cents in one of his beers, so he has to down it. At any rate, I mean, there's not a lot 40k to talk about, unfortunately, for this.
Jeremy has something to say.
Yeah, so the singles for Alpine Cup is listed as a qualifier for the Warhammer World Championships.
Let's go.
Good. So there's no stakes in teams. Hopefully, no one will be announced.
There's no stakes, so no one will be taking it seriously. So we can take it seriously.
My favorite part of the process has been our matrix, which had a teal fill out that just said "Booyah" in all caps in it. That's my favorite one. It's this one's a guaranteed 20-0. That's dark green or whatever, and then there's teal, which is somehow above that, which is "Booyah." That one's great.
Have I ever told you about the Team Scotland ice cream fine system?
No.
Yes.
No. So we had a player who didn't drink. So the Northern Irish have traditionally had a beer fine system where you accrue a number of beer fines over the course of the tournament. You buy that many rounds at the start of the event. Because we had a few non-drinkers one year, instituted the ice cream fine system, which is if you ever get 20-0 in a round and you don't have the boss, which is another thing, we give a boss out to the person who gets the worst player in the round. They're protected from the 20-0 thing because you're safe. You're protected by the boss. If you're not that person, you get 20-0, you buy the team a round of ice cream. And if you ever promise a 20-0 and don't deliver, you buy the team an ice cream.
I see.
We
The
get many
story
ice
about
creams.
Booyah, I think at this point I should explain why there was a teal color.
Yeah.
So I think it was our third 8v8 scream that we played during COVID times as Poland, and we were playing French team. And after every scream, we would share our matrices to actually discuss how we perceive certain matchups, etc., to the all adult stuff that you actually want to improve and shit.
Yep.
And I think we like beat them, but like narrowly or something like that, or drew. Like it was close.
Mhm.
And then we exchanged the matrices, and we saw like 3/4 of it being fucking teal. Like it was all booyah into us, and it was literally written booyah, and it wasn't a joke. They literally put that every like one of their players got like 8 booyahs in a row, like just 20.
The perfect list. No counters.
He just looks at it like Duda 20-0, Vladi 20-0, like easy.
Easy.
So obviously when we've paired, they got in that pairing. I think we went well because we got only 4 booyahs for them from the pairing, which all 4 of them they lost.
Hey, maybe booyah means something different in French. Don't worry about it.
I don't
No,
think
we
so.
asked them. So since then, we just decided to use that as a color that you only put in if you want a meme. Like
Yeah.
then
Oh,
nothing.
I'm going through all my World Eaters pairings on that matrix.
There's nothing green in English.
Yep.
Unique matrices. There's another Enter the Matrix episode with England where we do pairings, so you might want to see that one in near future.
There you go.
Um,
The NOS green.
And there's actually a NAS green, which means I win this game under 45 minutes.
It's got a time.
Oh, I've got
component,
a
too.
bunch of those as well. Yeah, it's really nice when you're captaining a team that if you finish a game in 45 minutes because you're playing Iron Hands, you get to do a lot more captaining in those rounds than when you were playing GSC. It's actually quite nice.
How do you enjoy not actually being a captain at all?
Dude, it's good. This is going to be the first team event I've not done pairings at since 2018. It's going to be
Wait,
so
no, you're
nice.
doing pairings. We talked about this.
No, not a chance.
We will vote democratically.
Each
We should
round.
all do pairings
We're
one round.
doing
Everybody does
pairings
one
this
round.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anthony
Who's
needs
going
practice.
under the bus of doing pairings?
You're gonna want to
Yeah,
get me
Anthony-
out of the way early.
Yeah, Anthony, you can do the Czech Republic. We beat them anyway.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, I can
You realize
wait
now
for
if you
everyone
lose.
to- This will get old well.
Yeah. It's
That'd be
fine.
great.
I'll do the first pairing. It'll be fine.
We'll
There's
all
nothing
pair
that-
one round. We'll all captain one round. Whoever finishes first just becomes the coach. But other than that,
So, no, what we will do, actually, when it comes to pairings, we'll do the pairings and then roll who plays which army. Because I'm pretty sure every single one of us, including Choco here, would love to play GSC when they do not know the rules. I think that's the
Hey,
stuff that we want to spend. our
I'm
weekend
safe.
on.
I am very in favor of this system. I either get to play a brain dead easy army or the army I brought. Like, that's the only two choices.
You want to play those Necrons? I think they are very easy.
Let's push it forward and be OBSEC, right? All right, no thinking required. That's
You
what
can
you
do
play.
that. You'll bring back a sweet 4.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
How much
you will bring.
how much were
more
you planning on me
GSC.
bringing back as GSC this weekend?
Oh yeah,
Anthony, do you have any bets active for Alpine?
Fucking move over. All right. So
you can always move the fucking mic.
yeah, I could, but that's less dramatic. So I was worried for a little bit there that the team was not necessarily gonna take the event as seriously as I assumed we would be upset if we didn't. So I told Brian, who was trying to take a Craft Worlds army that he's still not painted because he's a lazy hobbyist, that if he doesn't take Craft Worlds and we win, I will, in payment of him not being able to take the Harlequins that he got rush ordered so he didn't have to pay tax on, so me and Typhus could pick it up, and for no other reason, that I would get a Harlequin,
Oh, I do remember this.
a
Yep.
small Harlequin tattoo next to my Team Aussie one. But we have to win the event, which as a group of fuck ups and drunks, we should be fine. It's a safe bet where nothing can go wrong.
Yep.
Like all my bets that involve historical firsts, it'll be fine.
Now all we need is actually Poland to draw Germany round one.
Oh my fucking god!
Do you know what? The one thing I want to happen most this weekend is
I've
Anthony to
heard
play
Poland
TJ.
is pretty good at drawing round one. Like I've
That's
got some
true.
experience.
Yeah.
Anthony, how would you feel about traveling all the way to Austria to play TJ? Just out of curiosity.
That would be hilarious. Also, just so bad for TJ. He's playing Mono Siege,
Oh, no.
and I'm playing World Leaders. If you can line it up, my only request is that we would do it on the Scouring, just to really get the PTSD flowing for TJ. Because the last 4 times me and TJ have played, it's been on the Scouring. And if you know anything about our respective play styles, that's not a favorable matchup for TJ.
Ouch.
I just noticed that they're on table 1 too.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're on table 1.
That's where they belong. In before diamond, checker, leg sleeve. That's if we score a perfect 500.
What did you
I
say?
think Anthony would take that bet.
Diamond, checker, leg sleeve if we score a perfect 500, which you have the complete power to stop in the last round. So it's a free bet, but you won't take it anyway.
I would do that.
Yeah?
That's a cool sleeve. Like, that's a cool leg sleeve. I would get, like, portion of my leg like that, but that's, like, a thing that I would need someone to pay for as well, because that's going to be expensive as shit. I'm not doing that
That's fair.
solo.
Guys, we can only get better looking at the pairings. We are playing on second to last table. If we manage
It's
to
the only
ever
way to
play
go
on the
up.
last one, it can only go better.
Yeah.
Look, man, let's see how Friday night goes first and then decide where we're going.
First, we need to arrive.
Exactly. I was speaking to one of my clients who's at the event, and he was like, "Yeah, so it's a 7:30 start on the Saturday," and I'm like, "Hold the fuck up! It's what?" It's like, "Oh, no, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Breakfast at 7:30." I was very
Yep.
worried.
Sounds like
I'm
a
not sure
Defcon
we'll make
scheduling.
it for breakfast.
You don't think so? I think it'll be fine.
We paid for some amount of food, so
You mean by we, you mean I?
I paid you for that food. I have paid.
You still owe me 3 cents, you fucking
I will
screw.
give you the 3 cents, you fucking Polish.
I'm going to leave you a bunch of American cash.
The worst part about that bet, if it actually comes true, on the way back to Warsaw, because Anthony is like flying back on Tuesday, I need to find him a tattoo parlor that will do the tattoo on Tuesday morning before his flight.
Yeah. The plan is to get it while I'm still here, which is fucking gaming, man.
Well, the problem is that if you don't, it'll be like 6 months before you get it.
Nah, I'd get it right when I go back.
Yeah, surely.
Just like the Australia tattoo that you got super quickly.
I mean, I can get it quickly now. I have a tattoo artist in Jersey.
That's fair.
And he knows that I lose bets. Like, we had a whole conversation about it, so we're good.
That's fair. Should we talk about some other stuff like Dante and the Lion? Just to move on to a topic that's vaguely 40K related in a way people can relate
Sure.
to, besides just us talking about being at Alpine. How crap is the Lion for 320 points, by the way? I don't get it. What does he
I think
do?
he's good.
I don't think he's very good.
He's
I
not,
think he's-
like, better than 10 Terminators, but
So
he's
that's the
really
problem.
good.
My favorite part about Lion is that as it's very noteworthy for a Primarch, and it's very fitting that his biggest opponent is a wall.
Yeah.
If he sees a wall, he's like, "Fuck!"
Oh yeah, if he was
Do
in
it
I would
again!
be like, yeah man, he seems pretty good. And then I think about like where I deploy him on the WC board, and I'm like, he ain't never getting anywhere.
Does he have to, though, or does he have to just point at a unit of Terminators and be like, you can never hold an
Yeah,
objective
but he
their own?
costs.
What if
a
you just
unit
had
of
10
Terminator.
more?
Yeah, that's true.
What if
You
instead
just
of
put
heroic
10 more on
intervention,
the
6
objective.
objectives, 60 objectives, you just had 20 Terminators on the objective?
Yeah, but those guys get shot.
Yeah, but when the Lions go die to 3 Terminators is the problem. Like, dude is not resilient.
Yeah.
Martin just gave us the worst idea for LGT.
Hey, Anthony, do you remember when we were in Edinburgh and Martine?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, that's fine. I've
think
been
we
very
can make it happen at
I have been
LGT.
very good about like whenever we're in a Witherspoons not posting the table number in the StatCheck Discord. At LGT, I'm going to be doing it just because I want to see Anthony live the full experience of getting like
Just die.
just like No, just like plates of mushy peas brought to the table.
Oh, dude, I fucking
A glass of pilk, just stuff like that.
peas. Ugh.
Obviously, the most important thing is to deep strike the lion with Forest Walk next to a chaplain, so that you can get him into combat most of the time. Anthony and Typhus are frozen, and it's honestly the most intelligent conversation they've given us all day.
I think if Dark Angels were not where they were right now, his data sheet would look great.
We're good.
Yeah, if Dark Angels were bad, having a solid data sheet would be fine. They're not bad though, so having a solid data sheet is worse than everything else they can do.
I think
Compare
if
that
there
guy
was
to 5 tornadoes and tell me you want him.
No.
Compare him to 2 Talon Masters.
I think if it was just pre-point buff, you would run him.
I don't know. Maybe. Ricky sent more time.
I don't know. Like, I think my main issue with him is like if you were to compare him like 1-to-1 to Abaddon, I still think Abaddon is better
Yeah, Abaddon's also more expensive.
by like what now,
30 points.
30 points. Yeah.
Not by a
but, like,
significant amount.
and
he's only 40.
He's
He's
not
40 points
afraid
cheaper
of
than Angron.
walls,
He is not afraid of walls, it's true.
which changes a lot.
I mean, he's only 40 points cheaper than Angron. Angron at least
Why?
does something.
Why would you bring up
occasionally.
Angron in front of me? Come on.
Because I want to see you break if you have to run him next edition.
By the way, Anthony, has your package arrived?
So Anna texted me yesterday and was like, a huge package showed up for you. And I was like, what's in it? And then she just stopped answering me. I haven't spoken to her since. So did you kill my girlfriend? Like, what was in that package?
I don't know. Maybe she started playing with the Kopesh.
Ah, fuck. She broke her foot just dancing. You gave her a sword?
How is her foot, by the way?
She's mostly healed now. She's good.
That's good.
Yeah. She got a sweet new job. Life is going well for the collective. So things are going well. Things are good.
It is good that the Lion and Vashtor aren't great, or everyone would mad dash to buy them. We would just play the last 3 months of just buy the new models. Yeah, but you can't buy the new models. They sold out everywhere.
Yeah, they're just gone. Also, Christ, I don't even know what the fuck they would have to do to Vashtor to make him good.
Make him 9 wounds.
Cut his points
Give
in
him-
half.
Give your whole army seal of oath on every target.
Make
Maybe
him
then.
90 points.
Even then.
He'd be playable at
For
90.
90 points?
Full of
Like,
shit if you think he wouldn't be. You just put him in a Chaos Space Marine at 90 points. Like,
I guess.
I don't know. There's
Yeah,
no point
or
where
HP
there are no
drop.
data sheets in the game that don't become cheap as hell at enough of a points drop.
Yeah, I guess if he was like 45 points, maybe.
Fuck off, 45.
I mean,
Absolute
Clamavus,
chaos player
Vashtor.
cope.
Same thing.
You have such chaos player cope. It's unreal.
I mean, no, that army is just fucking awful right now.
And yes, Martin, the objectives that we had made are quite thick. The next round that we make are going to be made significantly thinner.
I kind of like that they're like a small weapon. Like if you
Yeah,
slap
they're
someone
for
with
bitch
one of
slappers,
those-
people who are fans of Fight Club, not Stat Check.
Yeah,
We're just going to honor the OGs, you know?
that's right.
Okay, Anthony, rage about Dante for a bit. Let's do that.
So like the problem is I already went through the stages.
Oh,
For
Anyway.
podcast listeners, Anthony was muted by Typhus.
So the problem was I've already been talked off the ledge, and I actually just think it's an upgrade now, and it's fine. So like if we want me to live react with rage to things, I need to not look at them earlier in the day and then just look at them for the first time.
We
on
need
the
to just
podcast.
stop looking at news and rumors on a Tuesday.
I could do that. That's the easy request. But for real, like he's actually it's just like straight upside, right? Like,
Mhm.
like stop trolling for a second, remove your expectations of what you wanted it to be. This is like when
Damage
people
3.
thought Death Guard was going to be like -1 damage and keep their feel no pain. Like you're not Rax, calm down. Like is never happening. So the reality of what we've ended up with is Dante is just like flat better. And also a Dante that can angel sacrifice and then transhuman is a real cunt to remove. So it's good. It's good. Blood
Yeah.
angels aren't good. So that's its own problem. But like You
It
know.
turns out 7 wounds is a really big breakpoint for 10 points.
Yeah. And that extra attack is not nothing.
It is not nothing.
Also, that pistol fucks.
It's a beam.
It's a beam that works. It's better than photon beams.
But is he a plane? I don't think he's a plane yet. So we're
He's
still
the closest thing to a beam plane we have besides Mortarion.
He does fly.
I guess technically Mortarion is the OG beam plane.
He's just a small beam plane.
Yeah, a little.
He's a beam glider.
Where's the
beam copter?
Beam copter.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to be more mad about Blood Angels, but like maybe they'll get new units soon and maybe they'll be cool, and then I can't be that mad about Blood Angels.
Oh god, I can't wait for Marines to get more new units.
I'm just like, I'm not allowed to play Blood Angels for fucking teams, so I can't get that excited about them anymore because we have fucking Jaime on the team who only plays Marines and Tyranids, and I would rather Jaime hit me in the face than played Tyranids right now. So
what happens to your team if Marines and Tyranids are both just bad? Is Jaime just like,
Jaime has to
go
get
learn something
creative?
Then US just goes back to previous year.
Whoa.
Typhus, they can't go back to previous years if they've not proven they're out of it yet.
Come on, please.
I can see the pain in his eyes, and it feeds me.
It hurts so bad. We're trying so
I mean,
hard.
you still have the
I
same
know.
captain,
You're
right?
doing
We
such a
do
good job.
still have the same captain. That's true.
Well, until next year when Anthony's captain, but you know.
God.
We should have made him captain for Alpine to get used to the experience, actually.
I mean, yeah. We still can. I mean,
I was captain for 5 minutes.
Brian,
He wants to play in Craft Worlds.
Brian, we need your vote, and then we have majority vote with me and Ines.
What you do is you just hand him the pairing cards and a die and walk away.
No, we will just go for beers then, and just.
You're gonna come back to depressing shit. Just so you know.
It can't be that bad.
By round 5, he'll figure something out, right?
Yeah, by the time we have to play a hard game, I'm sure we'll have won 3 rounds. It'll be fun.
As long as the Poles and the Germans draw, we can do that.
But you have to imagine if the Poles beat the Germans, then we can just have Typhus like mind game them because he can just do their pairings badly for them by just like using all of their foibles against them.
Yeah.
I don't think they are ready for mind games and talking shit when me and Pumba are on the other team.
Was you saying that
Poland is
we have 2 of Poland's brains and Myson's not here? So
yeah. I think the Polish team is like a Hydra that suddenly got all of its heads cut off
At the same time.
and they just didn't regrow. So I mean, they will manage, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. You just told them you're disappointed in the way they've done it after each pairing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wrong. Ooh, I don't think that was the right choice. Ooh.
I've had enough sexual experience to say that with straight face.
No, the athlete's not there, Sam Lemon.
Oh, let's see.
He still owes me a Zinger box. Like, Anthony actually made me show the video. Made me show the video to my mom and explain it.
I didn't
I
make
don't
life
think
choices?
I don't think I could live. I don't think I could live with that.
I feel like you have a very different relationship with your mom than Typhus does with his, having interacted with both
That
sides of that equation.
seems likely based on the context clues of what the conversation you just had was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Do we want to do show questions before this degenerates even more?
That's a good
You
idea.
might as well. It seems like a good idea.
It seems like we're running
wanna
out
do
of
the
things that
plug
aren't
first,
deviancy
Victor?
to talk about. Like, we've got the deviancy covered, but
Yeah, that's true. Are you doing the plugs or are we just going straight to questions?
I can do some plugs. I don't feel like I've earned from this episode, but I'll do them anyway.
All right.
I'll be right back.
I thought you were grabbing Anthony's hand there.
No.
I really thought it was a cup. Just like
I'll be right back
holding your
and
hand
then
before
we
you.
have our room.
All right, I'm going to do the plugs. So thank you, everybody, for being with us so far for this episode of Stat Check. I almost feel like we should have made this an unnumbered episode because there's so little to talk about for KYs. We are just rolling on into next week. But if you're enjoying the show and you want to hear more of us when we have a topic to talk about, come and check us out every week. It's 11 p.m. GMT, 6 p.m. Eastern, various other times across the globe. You can catch us live for talking about all kinds of things Fortnite related. We mostly cover things like news and stats and events and, answer a bunch of questions. It's good stuff. You should check it out if you're not here regularly. If you are here regularly, thank you very much. If you want to support us a bit more, you can check us out at patreon.com/statcheck, where you can get access to our Discord for $5 a month. That also gives you access to our bonus content. The most recent thing we released was an interview with Kyle Grundy of his own coaching program now, Pure Type program, where we went through a bunch of stuff about being a Tau player and what it's like when it's good, when it's bad, all that kind of thing. We're going to be looking at doing a little more coverage like that, leading into when 10th edition drops, doing a whole bunch of faction-specific coverage that we're really looking forward to. If you want to get all the news on that coming up and probably see it a little bit early, come and check out the Discord and the Patreon. We would really appreciate seeing you there. Otherwise, chuck us a like, chuck us a comment, chuck us a review on whatever podcast app you're using. It all helps us out with discoverability and just being seen and, doing more of this stuff, because we rely on you guys to make all of this feasible. We got to pay Jeremy to edit. We got to pay for our hosting costs, and the Patreon and, the YouTube money is how we do that. So thank you to everybody who's doing that or who's done that already. And we look forward to meeting you if you're going to take it up. We would really appreciate it. Lastly, there's a bunch of other shows on the network. There's also Enter the Matrix and X1. Those both come out various dates. Unfortunately, we didn't have an episode of X1 last week. There were some issues that came up. So that will be happening this Thursday at 12 p.m. GMT. Do your time conversions. I'm done.
And by 12 p.m. you mean 12 a.m.?
Yeah, 12 midnight. That's the one. Look, man, I'm having a day. So yeah, do check that out. And also Enter the Matrix, which, as Typhus mentioned, we'll be having an episode about Team England pairings coming out soon. And those are both available on all the podcast feeds if there's not a video component, which for the pairing stuff on the Matrix means you should go and check out YouTube, which is youtube.com/c/statcheck. Lastly, I suppose I did lastly already. Finally, furthermore, even more inclusive to that, Typhus and I both offer coaching. If you're interested in that, check out stat-check.com/coaching or drop us an email at coaching@stat-check.com. If you're interested in improving your game in any way, shape, or form, as we lead up to 10th edition, there's a bunch of core skills that you can still be working on, even if you're not as invested in the game right now. Or when 10th drops, if you just want to get a head start and get access to people who are going to be thinking about it way too much because WC is happening, do reach out to myself and Typhus. We would love to hear from you. Now we're going to do show questions. Thank you for sticking through that. All right. First question. How excited are you both for 10th WTC? I suppose all of us, because we're all going. So
one at a time.
Go for it. Jeremy.
I'm looking forward to handing 8 factions to my players and being like, have fun. I'm really excited for it. I just want a book to fall off the back of a truck so badly right about now, so we can start actually preparing, because there's so much like FUD and just rumors, and the drip feed that GW is doing right now is infuriating. But I am super excited for 10th at WTC because it's gonna really showcase how quickly people can adjust to a ostensibly brand new game.
So I always enjoy the chaos. From everything they've said so far, it all seems like it's harkening back to some of the stuff I really enjoyed from 5th through 7th edition, which is when I got started playing and got started being competitive. I have a lot of fond memories of the way the game was played back then. I don't think I enjoyed 8th very much. I'm doing well at 9th, but I don't love it. I love the community and I love being part of the competitive scene, but the game itself is it's a little stagnant. I don't like the way that some of the choices they made coming out of throwing some of the baby out with the bathwater from 7th to 8th edition when they made that transition. And bringing back some of the core mechanics like USRs is just a nice way to clean the game up in a way that makes me excited for it. I'm also looking forward to seeing like a bunch of rebalancing, seeing some factions that maybe are running with design decisions that they made back at the start of 8th edition, like the way they built Index GSC or the way they built Index Tau has very much lent into the way that the 8th edition Codex came out, which then led into how the 9th edition Codex came out. And with a reset, we get to get rid of all of that like dead chaff in those books and bring a whole bunch of new stuff, new design choices, updated design choices based on more playtesting, more theoretical knowledge. If they get it right, it's going to be fantastic. It always is when they jump from, the 3rd edition books to they followed through all the way through 7th edition. When they got rid of those at the start of 8th edition, we saw a very good way of making a bunch of armies that didn't have cool things have cool things. And I think if we see that again, it's going to be a good time. WC is going to be a fucking nightmare, though.
Sure is.
For me, I'm the most excited about not being involved in the team. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
You get to have a July. You get a whole extra month in the year.
Yeah, I'll have a month in my life that I didn't know existed for the last 10 years.
So Typhus, have
Aren't
you told your
coaching
team this?
Luxembourg?
Sorry? Sorry,
Have
Jared?
you told your team?
I mean, the guys choosing the team, no, I wasn't put into the narrow team choice. Like, I wasn't in the narrow 12 group or something. Like, I will help them out, but I will not sacrifice my life for it. Which sounds great.
Yeah. Sounds different. I couldn't imagine having a July. The second,
Yeah,
the
but
one I said was, aren't you coaching
imagine
Team Luxembourg?
I will be at the event and I will be able to talk to people, not think about pairings.
And not just
And my
focused.
army that I'm supposed to play with.
That does sound like a better way to experience WTC, not gonna lie.
Yeah, which I haven't since 2018, so I'm looking forward to it.
You don't have to gaslight gullible Americans into thinking you've never played your army before.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That worked last year. I was like, man, this guy's really good at this for having never played this army before.
I wasn't lying.
That list is you've never played. You know what's fair? You didn't say you'd never played the army. You'd said you'd never played that list, and that was strictly true.
All of the individual components, sure. In this permutation,
A bunch of Ninth Drukari. You've done that, but not that list.
how do you keep motivated with 10th coming? I have some events in leagues, but every time they spoil more 10th, I care less about 9th.
I think, Jeremy, you can be the one here.
Oh, well, I'll answer that question after this one.
Yeah, we'll take that one after we've done that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's one of these things where you change priorities. You change what's important to you rather than focusing on like dominating in 9th, knowing that 10th is coming. You focus on at least what we know so far, on keeping the skills that you feel are transferable from edition to edition sharp. And also you try to bribe as many people as you know who might have early access.
Bribery is expensive. NDAs hurt to break.
Yeah, they really do.
Couldn't relate.
I think when it comes actually like from WTC standpoint, I think this is the best moment to do deep jumps into armies you have no clue about.
Mhm.
This is like if you are thinking purely about WTC performance, like I think your team, everyone should just swap into something they've never played even once.
That's funny because that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Because nothing else actually matters. You're playing what you are confident in, and you were playing, say, World Eaters for 2 months.
Yeah.
Doesn't translate into any gains at this point. You like the law of diminishing returns, right? Like you hit that threshold. So I'd say like when you think about WTC, it's the point of playing dumb shit and actually figuring out stuff you would never play when you were looking at it competitively.
Yeah. I will say that playing Tau gave me, I'm sure, some form of brain disease, but it did teach me a little bit about how to counter them, which is cool.
That's the thing. Like you realize how certain playstyles work, and for example, that against certain armies, you just killed their shit.
Yeah.
And
For a singles player's perspective, because that's what I think most people watching this will be relating to, the reason to play 9th edition now is that it's basically a solved game. Like, we know what's good. We're going to have a balanced state slate that shakes it up a little bit, but we know what archetypes are good. We know what's cool and interesting in the books. We're going to see a small change over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have a pretty reasonably end state of 9th edition game, which is the last it'll ever be. What that means is a great time to, if you want to just see how you like different play styles, obviously, like the same idea that they were mentioning just earlier, try something new. You want to find out going to 10th edition if you really enjoy fast shooting armies, or if you really enjoy like the sit there and tank them combat armies, or you want to sit and score. This is a great time to just play a list, borrow it from a friend that's got the list already, because it's the end of the edition. Everybody's got the lists now. There's no, you're not scrambling for stuff anymore. The game isn't less fun because there's a more fun game later. Like, if you were enjoying 9th a week ago, it's still the same game. Like, you were already having fun with it. If the destination, like, it's kind of like not seeing the wood for the trees here a little bit. If you're already having fun and you were having fun, Don't let the fun you could be having later affect the fun you're having now. You play 40k because it's a game you enjoy at the end of the day, unless you're like one of the 75 million people or 75 people that really, really care about WTC too much.
We're just
because you
single
play-
too much. That's the thing
Yeah,
that happens.
that too. If you're playing the game because you enjoy it, the fun you're having now isn't diminished by the fun you could have later. Maybe don't go out and buy a new army, but go and try something new, or go and play if you really enjoyed the playstyle of something that was terrible this edition, go and play a couple of RTTs with it, because who cares? You're not trying to win and you're not proving anything anymore. If you really want to go and have a couple of last games with Kraken Tyranids, Strategem's still there. Zoanthropes are still there. Yeah, it's crap now, but you can still do it. If you were having fun with that before, go and try it again. Just play the highlights, or go and find somebody to play Arcs meta or something, whatever you want to do. Or Nephilim, or just, go and have a blast. Do a Blunderdome for your local community. Whatever you got to do. Just, make your own fun for a little bit. 10th edition will be there.
In Poland, for example, we have a plan of organizing few RTTs where you basically swap armies with your opponent every round.
Oh, God.
Which are always fun. When you get to play that Fortress of Redemption with 3 Vexilas in it, it's strong.
Yeah, if you're going to do that event, ban fortifications. It's my thorough recommendation.
Yeah. We are so disappointed that the drill thingy from GSC is not present anymore.
You can't even buy it anymore. It's such a terrible model. But
I was hoping to actually see it on the table for once.
Yeah.
The tectonic fracture will rest in peace.
You can kind of take the inverse approach too, where you're like, 9th is solved. I'm going to play something that I know is good for a fact and develop skills by using something that I know is good. So after a game, I can't be like, my army failed me because it's bad. It's like, no, bitch, shut up. We know it's good. Just play the thing.
If you're losing with Dark Angels Terminators now, that's on you, buddy.
Dark Angels Terminator is a great example of an army to learn how to do fight phase shit with, as long as you take the chaplain. You don't have to do it, but you're not terribly punished for not doing it. But also, you have 6 engines pile and consolidates. If you want to get fucking crazy, that's a thing to do.
Exactly. Or, if you want to really learn about how to manage drop turns and reserves and having very little on the board, go and play some Craft Rolls or GSC. You can do so much stuff with this state of the game now, where we know everything. We know what's good. Or we don't know everything. There will have been a list that was broken at one point that nobody ever played. But we know enough about this game to reasonably say that that you can fix variables now. Go and learn to go and play at a different tempo, or go and play a play style that doesn't suit you, and just maybe you'll find you like it, and then that's transferable to 10th edition, because now you know a new thing that you like, that you were good at, that you can try and find another way to approach it.
Yeah.
Right, let's do that super chat question.
All right, John, thanks for all the stats. My question is for Jeremy. If you were running Dark Angels with Nerf gun Marines, what guard army would you not want to face? See you soon. Also, hi, Anthony. Looking forward to our next game. That was the John, the guard player that you played.
I knew who it was right away. Fucking love that guy. That was one of the best games I've played in the entire time that I've played 40K. That guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah. John is a absolute gem in our community. He is so fun, so great to play. He's a super talented player. Innis, you will meet him because he is going to be coming to War Masters, even though he is completely uninvolved with the WTC team this year.
Dude,
the fact that I'm going to change this year.
Dude, he's so good.
Yeah. But anyways, what would I not want to face what kind of guard army would I not want to face if I was running Nerf gun Marines? 80 Scions.
Also, mechanized is annoying.
Yeah, mechanized is really annoying. Please don't bring that.
Mechanized is annoying, but it's not crushing you. You're still playing a game there. But yes.
Sorry, not born soldiers, so playing mechanized instead.
A mechanized guard army. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
10 more. John is the best. I'm just so sick of draws with him.
18 Sentinels is probably pretty terrifying for Dark Ages as well, to be fair.
Yeah, that would be a little annoying.
I don't want to. Nobody wants to play against 18 Sentinels. It's a lot of damage.
Dude.
Okay, fuck you. Look, man, you can't just sit there and be the exception like I was when I was playing GSC. It's not okay. It's really kind of annoying.
To me.
Well, no, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a week and a bit, John. It'll be great.
No, and thank you for the donation, John, or thank you for the super chat. I think it's not technically a donation.
And if anyone's listening to this and is in the Montreal area, go check out Kanzid, which is John's restaurant that he runs.
Note to self: if I'm ever in Montreal, which I doubt, but
We'll get you
Actually-
there one day.
Anna loves Montreal. That's easy to do.
Yeah, no, definitely check out his restaurant. Highly rated.
yeah.
He's put his heart and soul into it for the last, I think, 7 years now.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm definitely gonna go do that. I might go there just to do that.
We'll get you to play one of Bruno's events at the same time. They're almost as well run as All His Dust.
Sweet.
Dan had a second question from the Discord. Moving back to that, what's your pick for top and bottom points of ninth? I jumped in mid edition and missed some wild times.
Top, winning against USA. Bottom, losing against Australia.
Wow, those were really close together for you.
Yeah, those are right next to each other.
I think he means metas.
They're the
but sure.
reason why I was still drunk on the plane back.
I think he means metas, but thank you for the insight into the reasons you'll be in therapy in 10 years.
I mean, 9 Void Weavers. That was the low point.
That was the best.
Personally, that was a very high point for me, but
That meta was awesome because 6 was always better because there's no world where you lost outside the mirror unless you were drooling. So you just played 6 and won the mirror.
hey bro, Crusher was there the entire
Yeah,
time.
idiots lost to Crusher.
Yeah,
12-0 with that army.
The only reason they didn't crack 80% was Crusher.
We did our
I
best.
had 100% win rate with that army.
Yeah, but you were playing against like TJ on Crusher. That doesn't count.
He wouldn't play it because it's just dumb.
It was too much. That was his line.
He didn't play. Back at that point, we were going for last year's 8v8 in Netherlands, and he was playing back then Heart of Rags and told me that he never wants to play Voids, and that was the only thing that I was supposed to make sure that doesn't happen during pairings. So he got all the Crushers, and turns out 160 Rags just kill Crusher.
It does.
It
It was a good thing nobody played that
Yeah.
for a while.
Except Myson.
Yep.
Yeah, I think low point was probably like the meta at LGT 2021, like the
The Admech shit.
the AdMech, like the
Oh,
6
yeah, that
AdMech
was the
lanes
worst.
meta, where we were just like, we still had the Drakari at like their almost peak performance, and also AdMech was there. So like any list that had a chance against
Yeah,
AdMech,
but you
just
think you see
hard
terrain?
trolls to AdMech, and then
You
any
think
army.
you see
I mean,
terrain or tracks
terrain
for
didn't matter
Drakari?
that much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like when you look at it, UKTC terrain always sacked for Drakari, so you never had really good scores from Drakari on those boards because they couldn't ever hide the Raider on those boards.
Yeah, but it was still like the problem was that any army that was good into AdMech just hard lost to Drakari even on those boards, and
Yeah.
any army that was good into Drakari just like
Fair.
got deleted by 6 planes.
Yeah.
So like we
Yeah,
ended up with
it
like
did.
this weird skew. Like the Dreadnoughts list that Nas and I played was like the only thing we could find that like had game into both, and it was still sketch as fuck into AdMech. Especially because you sometimes went second, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. I think that meta is probably the worst it's been. The like Orc 6-plane meta was pretty bad as well. Like anytime
Maximum.
like 6 planes is ever viable.
I think for me, honestly, the highest point of the 9th edition was just before Drakari. When the best army was Harlequins,
Yeah.
but back then Harlequins were like insanely skillful.
Yes.
I see. I wasn't good at the game back then. I was like so new.
I
That,
think
like,
at that point,
I was playing Death Guard back then. I was having a bad time regardless. So
yeah, I think at that time, like there were before Drakari, there weren't like obnoxious armies except AdMech, I would say. AdMech was the worst.
yeah, we had like the
AdMech,
AdMech, the AdMech Iron Striders build where it was like the
or like
properly old
Catapult.
ones.
But I think like that point was the best point of the 9th meta, just because the codexes they released then was Space Marines, Necrons, and Death Guard,
I think
Yeah.
right
which weren't
before
killing.
Custodes came out was pretty good as well. But I think that was probably because people hadn't figured out tie builds at the time. Sort of like right before the meta, right
no,
before
Tau
LVO.
was after Custodius.
Yeah, Tau
Was
came
it?
out a month after Custodies because Custodies
Yeah.
and GSC came out.
Oh
right
yeah,
before
course. So,
LVO.
yeah, like right
Yeah,
before
that window
before
was
Custodes
dope
came
because
out.
that was when we had Thick City. Ah, what a wonderful time.
But it was before Thick City got buffed, which meant that it was just good. It wasn't ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good meta as well. And then like mid Nephilim was pretty good. Like it was ridiculous. Like Nids were stupid, so were Quins. But like there were a lot of lists are going around at the time as well as that. Like Tau had builds, Custodians had builds, and you saw a bunch of stuff. Like Nids were fun.
I think in general during this edition there were like few points where the meta was decent, but
there's always been something busted. Yeah,
and I think it's related to how the scoring was designed in this edition, and it could be a long run that we had just before getting on the show. But I think this edition, like the scoring is so one-dimensional that a lot of games turn out to be the same. If you play against a specific player on a specific like same skill level, the games tend to be very, very similar to each other.
Yeah.
So this is something that just made me not enjoy the game at all, because I felt like I cannot imagine playing Word Eaters, for example. Like that army is so one-dimensional that, especially with one-dimensional secondaries, it's just boring.
Yeah, it is.
So
one-dimensional. I have a good time, but I could have a good time bouncing my forehead.
The one dimension is Anthony's fun. It's Anthony bouncing people off the curb, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's not been anything in this edition that I would say has been like the best. It's hard to be like it's the best it's ever been. It's not like, but there's never any really in any edition I've played been a time where
I think the highest points actually for the meta for me were like before the Drukhari, as I mentioned. And also the Nephilim meta for WTC, I think that one was quite good as well.
Yeah, like, Nids were fucked, and then Sisters had their weird thing.
People didn't realize that back then. Well, I think like those were fine. Like I think those are like two metas that I enjoyed because you could still consider a lot of armies.
Yeah. I think we got off pretty lightly with WTC this year being at a pretty good period. Like as far as the metas go, it was one of the more balanced ones.
Greenstones, 70 Storm Ravens point.
Yeah. It was like post nerf enough Nids that like you had a chance into them with a few armies that it wasn't too bad.
As someone that came in during this edition, this was a good time to learn because the game was so like, because your secondaries, you pick them, like everything about the game was stable, right? There was no like weird, crazy shit happening during, like the objectives didn't like randomly fuck off the board or something. Like you knew what you were getting. You were getting into, like you knew what you were getting into every game, so you'd be able to be like, oh, I can develop a game plan and learn how to execute based on my game plan. And it'll be consistent throughout the game, right? That was very valuable to me when I was learning to go from like, zero to hero, so to speak, right? I could see wanting variants if you've been playing the game for 20 or whatever fucking years.
One thing, if there was this edition, it would be completely different, is player-placed objectives. Then I think I could live with the secondaries.
I miss player-placed objectives so much.
But it's like a completely different topic to just touch on.
Yeah,
I could go for an hour-long rant about scoring system and how this one is fucked compared to previous one.
Hey, did you know we do produce bonus content almost on demand? So maybe you should. Anyway, let's move on because we have like 15 minutes to get through another 10 questions or so. How were the pierogi? Never had them, but unreasonably excited for it.
Oh, the
pierogi!
Holy shit! That
I'm reading what he wrote.
Amazing, incredible. We ate 27 of them or whatever.
Yeah, we went to a bar and actually ordered the waitress that we want 3 plates with 2 of each and one of those sweet ones,
and the soup on top. We ate at that bar.
Yeah,
it was incredible. The food I've had here has actually been some of the best I've had in my traveling.
Anthony, blink twice if they took your organs to sell and you're being held hostage. Okay, good.
In English, blink twice if they took your organs to sell and you're being held hostage.
That's what I said. Anthony, favorite Polish experience so far? Food, drink, sightseeing, etc.
That fucking soup was life-changing, man. That shit was so good.
And you got another one the very next day.
Yeah.
Like, that's the funny thing. Anthony had one in like a restaurant we had in one of the previous old towns in Poland because we picked up Brian's army.
Yep.
But the very next day, as he was just on the Easter day, my mom decided that, they will just cook Anthony everything Polish.
Yep.
So he came over to test every fucking thing that's very Polish, and he got that soup which was in that case homemade with homemade sausage, etc. Because my mother's boyfriend was actually a professional cook at one point in his life, So Anthony went through like 3 desserts, cakes, like
Dude, it was
soup,
nuts.
like a specific like turkey with like
God, the
horseradish
turkey was
sauce.
so good.
So like he got the full experience where we planned nothing of it.
Yep. Yeah, it was as far as like experiences go top to bottom, this has been incredible to the point that I probably have somewhat of a skewed view of how like dope it is to visit Poland because I've had a great host. So it's just like I'm like, yeah, this place is awesome.
And then you haven't seen me today till 11 p.m. So
Yeah, there was that. But like aside from that, it was good. Even that was fine, right? Like you were busy doing shit. I got to lay on that beanbag for like 6 hours or whatever. Good day.
Brian did ask how many naps you've had.
Naps? Almost none.
no.
None. Yeah, none.
I mean the one in the car.
Oh yeah, I fall asleep. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, favorite Primaris Lieutenant.
Gotta be Indomitus, right? The shield and sword boy.
Yeah.
Like I've won so many tournaments with that guy.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
I missed that.
silence is deserved.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think your do you think your reputation precedes you to a pairing, and does this affect your opponent? And if you're playing outside your normal tournaments, do you think you have an advantage with your opponent not knowing your skill?
First things, I think actually that people being starstruck is a thing.
Yeah.
I especially found it's a huge factor when you're for example, I am in a very unfavored matchup that the opposing player should just push and I would die. Like say Harlequins into Chaos Knights. If they just push, I die.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person just sees my nickname and would play KG to not lose too much. When that is the only way I win that match.
Just run at me, bro. Please, just run at me.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I saw happen way too many times when I was reffing UKTC. And
People
also
just give you
when
too much respect. It's definitely.
Yeah. You need to disrespect people in a way. Like you know your shit. Like they are no name, but like, well, you know your shit. So I think this was something that is pretty common, and I saw a lot of it.
Yeah,
and
they're
I
very eager to just not play the game against you because they think you're gonna like 5D chess them, and you're like, I got the same rules any other player with this army does, bro. I can only do so many things.
So as the entire opposite side of that spectrum, which is what happens to me now, because I've somehow managed to cultivate this personality where people think I'm just like not very good at this game and get lucky frequently or something. I don't know what happened, but it's somewhere along the way in my content creation path, people play me and finish getting like drilled by me and are like, wow, you like think a lot when you play, which I guess is meant to be like a compliment. Yeah. But it's like, wow, that was just so fucking rude. All right.
It's quite funny how much slower Anthony's games were than mine at the 2 events we've been at together. Like, I'm like wandering the halls looking for everybody, like done the rounds. Anthony's like mid turn 2 in the tank in his fuck off.
Now that I would always finish last at Alpine.
Yeah, that seems real.
I think you're going to be pretty correct with that one.
Yeah, Innes would finish a game as GSC and walk over to me like setting up the fights last shit in Emperor's Children and be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, fuck, go away.
Knowing all of you, I wouldn't be surprised if I was the last to finish all my games and that Pumbaa would be second last with Iron Hands.
No.
We tend to
promise you, Brian will finish after you. Brian is in somehow a time wizard. The last 8 minutes of Brian's clock lasts 30 minutes.
I see. It's orcs.
Brian got that time dilation shit where it slows down in his turn. Like he plays a turn 3, 4, and 5 with like fingers like they've been greased. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And about the other part of the question, if you are playing outside your normal tournaments, do you think you have an advantage?
I think it's the inverse.
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing for most of us.
I think I've mostly hit the point where I'm as mostly as well known in like America and most of Europe now, whereas I'm in the UK. I probably get less respect in the UK than I do outside of it because people in the UK have like played before and played me.
Leak it. Antonio's just leaking my table.
I spilled some drink. It's fine.
I lost my point. Moving on. Thoughts on characters being able to join units? Are you worried about returning to Death Star units with 4 characters inside them? From the sound
No,
of it,
I'm
it's
not
going to
scared
be
of it.
1 unit, 1 character, exception for some smaller characters, which I think is fine if they're pointed right.
Yeah,
Listen,
I think this was a problem for all previous editions where you had few characters. I think like even in 5th you could build Death Stars in Space Wolves where you could bring 4 HQs, and now I think like it seems fine.
Yeah, what you guys
one
need to
character is
understand
not going
is
to be a
that
problem in as much
what-
of a way.
what you guys need to understand is that it's an elegant system that helps keep overbuffed units, super units at bay. And
Yep. Uh, cool. Moving on. Hopes for the slate releasing this week.
Thursday.
No, it has to be Thursday. But hope for what's in it. Deathwing nerfs, Devastator Doctrine nerfs.
I just genuinely hope it's not this week, so we do not look at it before Alpine.
No, dude, I want all of Friday to just be us talking about it while we drink.
I hope it's ridiculous. I hope they just lose their fucking mind.
At this-
I hope it's like 9 pages long and it's
Crusher's
just
back.
dumb.
At
Somehow
this point,
Crusher and Speedwall have
we need
returned.
to be aware, Ines, that it's still an option that your luggage is driving in the front seat and you're in the trunk.
That's reasonable. It might be more comfortable than if I have to sit next to Chris, but
Yeah. So
love
just
you,
so
Chris.
know.
Promise.
Yeah.
Ines, thoughts on doing a reduced coaching fee session with the intent that it is recorded and used as content for the channel? I don't know. I would maybe like want to do it with like Cliff or something instead, just to see. But maybe I would have to think about it. No idea. What do you think, Typhus?
I mean, I do it for free.
This question.
That's fair.
With my like the latest to enter the matrix where we go in depth about pairings.
Just feels like a coaching session for pairings.
Yeah, it's a free coaching session for pairings. I mean, genuinely, if you haven't watched those, that will be applied for myself, but like, and kind of for Mitch as well. I think Mitch's back hurts after carrying those episodes. Like he's been hard carrying those, but like it's something that if you are unaware of how to deal with 5 months or you do not know how 8 months work, those episodes just give you good explanation of the process.
So I should watch them on the way down because I have to do our pairings in round 1 now.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems wise.
You just always defend with GSC because they need table.
First defend?
Yes.
Yeah, I need table choice really badly into all the things that just screw me if I have table choice regardless.
But I feel like he doesn't he. All right, okay. We'll let Puma slide into the scrum then at the end and get no table choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Hands still need table choice.
They have indirect shooting. Right?
Oh, right. All right, perfect.
Yeah, it would certainly be interesting, Ethan. I'm just not 100% sure how I would approach it with like a client. You need to be like, do you want to be recording? Have like all the weird questions you asked about 40K publicized? It just, I don't know. It doesn't sit right. I would maybe want to do it with like Cliff would probably be a good example of someone to do that with if I was going to do it. Not sure. Any interesting or exciting lists from Alpine Cup? I haven't read them. Not gonna lie.
No Desolators in one of the Polish teams was interesting.
There are a lot of Dark Angels and Iron Hands that don't have, or Dark Angels that don't have Desolator.
I genuinely would say, not biased at all, that the Necron list that me and Gito are bringing are really interesting for people outside to analyze. If you do not know what's happening in Necrons, I think those lists are lists that you should just go in depth and figure out what the fuck is happening in there.
I had one of our guys look it up.
Yeah,
You just push stuff forward and you score. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
yeah, it truly works like Liam Hackett's list.
Yeah, exactly. You just push stuff forward and you score.
Yeah,
And it's like 100 million little bullshit activations that all can't die. Can't all die because we can some of them.
Three-man bike squads surely have the same resiliency as
One
Scarabs.
Ghost Arc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or Scarabs.
Exactly. I mean, they do it behind a wall, but.
But other than that, I don't recall anything that just stood out to me, like being very surprising. I think the meta at this point is already figured out.
I don't recall seeing that many Iron Hands, which surprised me. But
Yeah, but like Terminators, if you
Yeah.
plan, just so people watching know, there's gonna be beer that's quite good available at the event.
Hmm.
If you plan the same stuff we do, then you bring, and your Dark Angel player can drink, then you can bring Dark Angels. But our Dark Angel player couldn't drink, so he's bringing Iron Hand, so he knows how to press big red button.
describe an elegant way to keep overbuffed super units at bay. Point them appropriately.
You let a Primaris Lieutenant who gives 6s to hit auto wound go into a unit that is not likely in any way, shape, or form to have full rerolls, and you're good.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I think they handled it somewhat in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
characters
can
just
have
kind of
only
die in
one-
that game.
one order.
You can have only one buff from any character on any one unit. Done.
Yep.
And finally, from Discord, John asks, on a scale from 1 to Innis playing GSC, how brain dead are you going to be from all the combination of alcohol and pairings by the end of the weekend? For one thing, I don't actually end up that brain dead after like a couple games of GSC. Coventry was bad, but that's the only one that was really bad. That was because it was 8 games. After a 5-round event with them, it's usually not too bad. So that's a pretty low scale. Let's go with Innis playing Dark Angels and trying to have fun as like the maximum frazzled.
I don't think I
Me
will have
looking for the
issues.
fun in this codex.
I will not have issues. I was sober at WTC only during 3 rounds, which was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. So I think I'll manage.
I think it'll be fine.
I think I'm gonna be all right.
I might be tired from like
Not sleeping.
no sleep and like crazy like the amount like the driving fucking chicanery we're gonna get up to between.
we're going
We'll get
for like
some.
10
We'll
hours.
get some shot poker on the go as well. Yeah.
We're going for like 10-hour drive to keep you guys up.
Yeah, the like drive from like one spot in Poland to like another spot in Poland to like this to that is just like woo.
That's fair. Right. We have one more question from the super chats, and then we're going to round it up. So Dan asks, with characters joining units, what would be your perfect combination? Please, Jeremy.
10 Deathwing Terminators with a Deathwing Strike Master that gives them lethal strikes and fall back and shoot and charge.
So people who do not know, I think Craftwords Farseer joining that Riptide. I just want that one back.
No.
And also Tigurius. I think that
What
one
about the character Riptide Ovesa joining a unit of Onvad
Ovesa.
to
Ovesa.
Ovesa joining
Ovesa
Onvad to Honor
joining
Guard.
as
So
part of
anything that was
Centurion.
AP 3 or higher, you took on the Riptides to a armor save, and there was AP 2, you took on Onvads that saved on equal to the AP characteristic. So he saved on.
I think
two
you're
against
on
them.
to
So you always
something. I
have a
think
save.
Ovesa joining Deathwing Terminators is also high on that list.
I would like a Grimoire of True Names, Fates, Screamer Death
Oh,
in
yeah,
a squad of
earlier.
9 Screamers.
Grimoire of True Names on Deathwing Terminators.
What about 5th edition Kairos Fate Weaver joining 10 Terminators?
That's also good. He gave full rerolls to save.
In a 6-inch bubble.
Yeah, that one was good. But if he saw a fucking squirrel in a forest, he could run.
Yeah,
That's also a great
every time you
one.
took a wound, you had to take a leadership check, and if you failed it, you just ran away.
And I was playing that army in 5th, so his role as he deep struck. If you deep struck into a forest, on the one you took a wound, and every
Which then
time
meant you had to take a.
and then you needed to take a leadership. So I had one game where he deep struck into a forest, got scared by a squirrel, and just fucked off.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good addition.
For me, it's got to be good old Swarm Lord and a squad of Tyrant Guard. It's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Oh, that's cool.
That's way back.
I mean,
5th? That's 5th.
I mean, like, it'll be, if it, based on what they've said, I reckon Swarm Lord will have Lone Operative and Tyrant Guard will give him protection. That seems like what they're going with, so I'm there for that.
the easy, obvious one for me is Incubi Drazar, right? Sure.
That's basic.
But much more fun than that would be Homunculus and Talos. Let me put the weird man with the -1 damage idiots and just fucking slap those bitches back to full every turn.
I've never understood how I ended up on a podcast with a bunch of Eldar players. It really
I love
confuses me.
Drakari so much. Just turn the camera, actually. He's worse than me.
No. You need
I
to put
know.
the fight's last Archon.
I'm
with the
talking
Yankee
about
guy.
both of you and Nathan are Eldar players, and it sickens me, frankly.
You want some burps? I've got burps.
Do you not have the little woodcutter ones that the Welsh had? They used cake decoration birds.
No. I actually have 27 well-painted birds
27. Where's the other 100?
in a bin where they belong.
I remember
Those
Team Wales
doves.
painting theirs on the day of because they were literal wooden cutouts for cake decoration doves.
I mean,
It was the
Anthony
worst.
came to my family home where I had all the shit from my old days. So he found that remnants of all those cool lists, like 75 warp spiders in the
Yep.
aspect cost.
75 force spiders and a Wraith Knight. All you needed. Maybe a Collector's Assassin for kicks.
And he was saying that there was like back in the day, you could hide everyone behind like one column.
One
and you'd,
pillar.
yeah, you'd be lucky to have the one pillar.
Eldrad and an unlimited sized Warlock Conclave. Not as cool as the unlimited sized Deathwatch squad from mid 8th.
Or another thing, like that would be my dream when it comes to actual Drukhari units. Back in 7th, Baron Satonix and the squad of beasts.
What?
That was the thing.
Do you remember all the Dark Elder special characters like Baron Sathonix, Duke Sliskus,
Lady
Vect.
Malice,
Lady
as well
Malice,
as Vect,
what was it?
Kradruag, the Decapitator,
Yeah,
those units. Yeah.
yeah, you know.
They have
Um,
none now.
Yeah, no. Do you remember all those guys? Was it like
Yeah, I
Cruelag
What
the
was it
Vile or
again?
something
Yeah,
like
cool.
that?
Like the special
Yeah.
Mandrake.
Yeah, Martin has the right idea. 200 brimstones and a DP with uncapped smite.
It was
I'm-
9 Demon Princes and 5 Exalted Flamers, thank you.
I'm
And possibly
so sad
5
that I
Malefic
have Drukhari
Lords.
having special characters. What the
Like-
fuck?
Actually, we were at my place. I had English book with all the
And obviously Azutro Vect as well, back when he had his
on his pimp
Wagon
wagon.
Ravager.
What the fuck?
I actually have his pimp wagon in like that cupboard there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tyranids and Drukhari just like lost all their special characters when they jumped from the 5th book to the 6th book.
What
That was
the
Chapter
fuck?
House that did that, wasn't it?
Chapter House got rid of the Nid ones. That was why we lost the. What was it called? It was,
Doom of
it used to be
Malantai.
a Macetic pod or
The
something.
Doom
like
of
that instead a-
Malantai.
We lost the Doom of Malantai, yeah. And then we lost like the original Mycetic Spore, which was the original drop pod before we had the Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus? I don't
And
know.
now you have Vaughn's Reaper or whatever it's called.
Von Ryan's Leapers. I love that name. I cannot. It just works for me. It makes me
Bro.
happy.
That model is
It's so
so
good.
sick.
I love everyone's
I
like making up the
literally-
names. Like, it's in the 3rd edition book.
Yeah. I looked at that review and was immediately, what is this? Oh god.
Just
the
ins-
Emperor's Children Lord. Hell yeah.
Screw
Metal.
It's like from 95th.
That's older than me.
I just found it.
I think this is older than both of us.
No, it's not older than me. I checked that.
Oh, okay. Damn, that's wild.
Anyway,
I think that is a good time to end it. Thank you so much, everybody, for bearing with us through this. What's the term? Like,
I'm sorry. I think
hide us over episode. I'm trying to think of the.
I think every episode that I just decide to join becomes one fucking big mess, and I'm like,
No, that's just all the episodes. That's just the show.
and I'm sorry, but really not sorry because you guys decided that it's a good choice.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us for episode 39, Commander Dante. It's been a pleasure having you with us for this week. We will be back next week. I'm guessing Anthony won't be because he'll be in the air.
But we can
Tuesday.
grab Pumbaa and Brian.
We'll do something. It depends how tired we are from the weekend. We'll see what happens.
Like they did. That sounds fun.
But yes, we will be back. Wish us luck for Alpine. If you want to follow it along, it is on Tourney Keeper. You just need to go into the upcoming event section or the in progress event section.
I think we can
The Alpine
try
Cup.
to use our social media to.
We could maybe like
Okay.
live stream on we could do like round reviews on Instagram, and we could. We won't. We'll forget. But
We can.
Every,
That's easy. If we all remember, we can do that. You know what?
As long as one of
Fuck
us
it.
remembers.
We're doing that.
and I'm logged into the socials, so that's fine. Someone just needs to steal my phone every round.
We'll
There
do
you go.
it.
There's a Tourney
Easy.
link in chat. So if you want to follow along with us there, we will be winning the Alpine Cup that weekend. Also, good luck to everybody doing the singles this weekend on the Thursday and Friday. I kind of wish I was there, but can't be bothered. Good luck to anybody who's at an event this weekend. We wish you all the best of luck, and may the balance stay like kill Dark Angels for good. Please, for the love of God, that army's been toxic since it dropped, and it should never have existed in the capacity that it does.
Fuck Dark Angels.
Also, if Desolation Marines were never playable, I would not be happy. I would not be unhappy.
Oh, that's an actual model.
Well, you don't just use regular Terminators that you butcher between chapters, depending on what's good right now.
I'm a Dark Angels player.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I have